Here are three fascinating stories about animal psychology that prove animals are far more emotionally complex and intelligent than we often give them credit for. These are perfect deep dive stories to share when the conversation turns to pets, nature, or behavior. 1. The Crow Mafia and Generational Grudges. If you ever think an animal is holding a grudge against you, you might be right, especially if it's a crow. The study, researchers at the University of Washington performed a famous experiment. They wore a specific caveman mask while trapping and banding wild crows. Later, they walked around campus wearing that same mask. The psychology. The crows didn't just remember the mask, they attacked the person wearing it. But here's the crazy part. Years passed and the crows still attacked the mask. Even young crows that hadn't been born when the original trapping happened joined the attack. The takeaway. Crows possess social learning. The parents had taught their children and their peers that this specific face was an enemy. They have a culture of information sharing. If you upset a crow, you aren't just making an enemy of one bird, you're making an enemy of the whole neighborhood for generations. 2. Rats will choose friendship over chocolate. We often think of empathy as a uniquely human trait, but rats have shown shocking levels of altruism. In a 2011 study, researchers placed 2 rats in a cage. One was free to roam, while the other was trapped in a small, uncomfortable clear tube. The psychology. The free rat spent significant time trying to figure out how to open the tube to save its friend. Even when researchers complicated the test by placing a pile of chocolate chips, a rat's favorite snack, in the cage, the free rat didn't just eat the chocolate. It first freed its trapped companion and then, critically, shared the chocolate with them. The takeaway. Rats possess emotional contagion. They feel the distress of others. They prioritize relieving another's suffering over a massive dopamine hit like sugar. 3. The myth of the guilty dog. You know that look your dog gives you when they've chewed up your favorite shoes? Ears back, head down, sad eyes? We all think, look, he knows he did something wrong. The psychology. According to animal cognition scientist Alexandra Horowitz, that isn't guilt. It is fear. The study. Horowitz set up an experiment where owners told their dogs not to eat a treat and left the room. Some dogs ate the treat, some didn't. The owners returned. Researchers told some owners their dog ate it, even if they hadn't, and told others the dog was good, even if they had eaten it. The result, the guilty look, appeared only when the owner scolded the dog, regardless of whether the dog actually disobeyed. In fact, dogs that were innocent but got scolded looked the most guilty. The takeaway, dogs are masters of reading human body language. They aren't reflecting on their past crime. They are reacting to your current anger and using submission signals to calm you down. 4. Elephants and PTSD. Elephants have a hippocampus, the brain area for emotion and memory, that is surprisingly similar to humans and, in some ways, more developed. The psychology. Elephants are one of the few species known to suffer from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Young elephants who witness their parents being poached often wake up screaming in the middle of the night. Furthermore, they have death rituals. When an elephant passes a pile of elephant bones, even if they are not related to that elephant, they will stop, go silent, and gently touch the bones with their trunks. It is a behavior that looks strikingly like reverence or mourning. Next up, would you like me to create a similar deep dive list for human psychological biases, like why we like toxic people or why we can't save money? Those are usually great for sparking debates. Here are more mind-bending stories about animal psychology. These focus on culture, manipulation, and even getting high, showing just how frighteningly similar animals are to humans. 5. Orcas have fashion trends, fads. We tend to think of culture and trends, like TikTok challenges or fashion, as human things. Orcas prove us wrong. The event. In the summer of 1987, in the Puget Sound area, USA, a female orca started swimming around with a dead salmon on her head like a hat. The psychology. Within a few weeks, orcas from 2 other nearby pods started doing the exact same thing. It became a fad. They wore these salmon hats for about 6 weeks. Then, just as abruptly as it started, the trend died out. They never did it again. The takeaway. Orcus of culture. They don't just behave based on instinct. They engage in social imitation solely for the sake of fitting in or playing, much like teenagers adopting a strange new hairstyle. 6. Cats meow only for humans. If you watch a nature documentary, you will rarely hear adult wild cats meowing at each other. They communicate via scent, body language, and growls. The psychology. Domestic cats learned that humans are very vocal but terrible at reading scent or subtle tail movements. So they adapted. A study by the University of Sussex showed that cats have developed a specific soliciting purr that includes a high-frequency cry embedded within the low-frequency rumble. This frequency matches the cry of a human baby. The takeaway: your cat isn't just talking to you. It is biologically hacking your brain to trigger your nurturing instinct, so you will feed it. They view us as clumsy, oversized cats that need loud instructions. 7. Dolphins get high recreationally. Dolphins are often portrayed as wholesome creatures, but they are actually the thrill seekers of the ocean. The observation. Documentaries like Dolphins, Spy in the Pod have captured young dolphins finding a pufferfish. When threatened, pufferfish release a potent nerve toxin. The psychology. In large doses, the toxin kills. But in small doses, it causes a trance-like state. The dolphins were seen gently chewing on the pufferfish, careful not to kill it, and then passing it back and forth to other dolphins in the group. After chewing, they would float near the surface, staring at their own reflections, seemingly mesmerized. The takeaway: dolphins are one of the few species that engage in substance use for recreation, not just survival. 8. The octopus who punches fish out of spite. Octopuses are solitary and highly intelligent, but they also have a bit of a temper. The study. While hunting alongside fish, a common cooperative behavior, researchers observed octopuses suddenly lashing out and punching a fish in the face. The psychology. Sometimes, this punch is practical, to push the fish away from food. But in a 2020 study published in Ecology, scientists confirmed that octopuses often punch fish when there is no food around. The takeaway: scientists call this active displacement, but in layman's terms, it's spite. The octopus is essentially bullying the fish to keep it in line, or simply because the fish